My husband said he needed a break from all the pressure at home. I took care of his sick dad, cooked, cleaned, and homeschooled our kids. I thought he was at a cabin with his cousin. But then I got a notification. He'd charged $900 at a beach resort. I called the front desk pretending to be him. "Is the honeymoon suite still reserved?" I asked. "Yes, Mr. Taylor and Mr. Mitchell checked in this morning," they said. My heart dropped. I drove 6 hours, walked into that lobby, and handed them both copies of the marriage certificate. Now you can really start fresh. I never thought I'd be the kind of woman to write one of these stories. But after what happened, I need to get it off my chest. My name's Dana, I'm 39, and I've been married to Daniel for 12 years. We live in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a quiet town, and we used to love that. We met in college. He was studying construction management, and I was in early childhood education. We clicked fast, got married within 2 years, and had 2 kids soon after, Eli and Nora, now 10 and 8. When his dad, Jim, got sick, we didn't even talk about it. We just moved him in. Daniel worked full-time as a project manager, so I handled the rest. I did the cooking. I cleaned. I homeschooled the kids. I took care of his dad when he started having mobility issues. I even helped with physical therapy routines at home when we couldn't afford full-time help. I wasn't resentful at first. I loved Daniel. I believed we were a team. That's what you do when you're married, right? You hold it all together when things get hard. About 6 months ago, Daniel started getting distant, snapping over small things, like the way I folded laundry, or if the kids were a little loud during his Zoom meetings. I tried to talk to him, asked if he was okay. He'd just say he was tired. Too much pressure, he kept repeating. I need a break from everything. I honestly thought he meant work or maybe just burnout from taking care of his dad. So when he asked to take a weekend at a cabin with his cousin Mike, I didn't argue. I figured a few days in nature might clear his head. He told me it'd just be Friday to Sunday. Just some time to fish, clear my mind, get some sleep, he said. I packed his bag for him. I even made sure he had his favorite snacks, his allergy meds, and reminded him to text when he got there. He gave me a kiss on the forehead. He hadn't done that in months, and thanked me. That weekend, I was alone with the kids and his father. Jim had a bad day on Saturday and needed help getting out of bed. Nora threw up in the middle of the night. I barely slept. By Sunday morning, I still hadn't heard much from Daniel. Just one short text Friday night. Got here safe. Spotty reception. Love you. I figured he'd call later. Then my phone buzzed. It was a notification from our shared credit card. A charge of $924.67 at the Sandbar Resort in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Hilton Head. That's not even close to the Outer Banks. I stared at the screen for a minute. I felt cold. I checked again to make sure it wasn't fraud. But the charge was under his name. I called the credit card company. They confirmed the card had been used physically at the resort's front desk. I felt sick. I opened up Google and looked up the number for the resort. My hands were shaking as I dialed. "Hi, this is Mr. Taylor," I said, trying to steady my voice. "I was just calling to confirm if my reservation is still active. The honeymoon suite." "Yes, of course," the woman said cheerfully. "Mr. Taylor and Mr. Mitchell checked in this morning. Everything is all set for your stay." I didn't say a word for a few seconds. Mr. Mitchell. His cousin's name is Mike Jensen, not Mitchell. I hung up. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I got quiet. Really quiet. I told the kids we were going on a drive to Grandma's. I dropped them off, told my mom I needed a day to clear my head. I didn't explain. She looked concerned, but didn't push. I drove 6.5 hours straight. No music. No calls. Just silence, and the sound of my heart pounding like a hammer the whole way. When I got to the resort, I didn't storm in. I walked in slow, holding a manila envelope in my hand. I'd printed out copies of our marriage certificate during a quick stop at a Staples on the way. I had proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes. The lobby was all marble and palm trees. It smelled like sunscreen and coconut. I walked up to the front desk and asked, Could you please call Mr. Taylor and Mr. Mitchell in room 314? Tell them someone left something important for them. The woman behind the counter smiled and picked up the phone. I waited. 2 minutes later, they came out of the elevator. Daniel was wearing shorts and a floral shirt. His tan looked fresh. He was laughing. Then he saw me. His face turned white. The man next to him, tall, slim, dark hair, probably early 40s, looked between us. I could see him start to realize something was wrong. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I handed them both a copy of the marriage certificate. Now you can really start fresh, I said. They just stood there, speechless. That was only the beginning. I didn't wait around for their reaction. I turned and walked out of that lobby like I didn't care, even though my chest felt like it was ripping open. My hands were still shaking when I got into my car, but I made myself drive back to Asheville that night. I didn't want to stay in the same damn state as him. The whole ride back, my mind was spinning. 12 years. 2 kids. His sick father under my roof. And he was down at the beach with another man in a honeymoon suite. And he lied. Lied straight to my face. Packed his fishing gear like he was going on a damn retreat. I kept picturing him letting me pack his bag, like nothing was wrong. Like I was some maid, some clueless idiot just holding everything together so he could sneak off and play newlywed with someone else. When I got home, the house was dark and quiet. The kids were still with my mom. Jim was asleep in the spare room. I sat at the kitchen table for 2 hours staring at my phone. He hadn't called. He hadn't texted. Nothing. I didn't want to tell anyone yet. Not even my mom. Not until I had a plan. I made a list. Step 1, lawyer. Step 2, move all the money from our joint checking into a separate account in my name. I did that first thing Monday morning. It wasn't much, just under $3,000, but it was something. Step 3, call Daniel's company and find out if he took vacation time. He hadn't, which meant he'd lied to them too. I knew someone in HR there. We used to be in a mom group together. I called her, pretending to ask about something unrelated, then slipped in a question about whether he'd be back Monday. She said, he's not on any leave, but I think he's out sick. His supervisor mentioned something about food poisoning. I said, huh, and hung up. He wasn't just lying to me. He was using his company too. Lying to them so he could cheat on his wife. By Wednesday, he was back home. I heard the garage open around 11 a.m. I didn't say anything. I just waited in the living room. He came in with his duffel bag slung over his shoulder, looking like a man walking into a trap. He stopped when he saw me on the couch. Dana, he started. I can explain. No, I said, standing up. You can shut the hell up. He flinched. I know where you were. I called the resort. I drove down there. I saw you. His mouth opened, but he didn't speak. Who is he? I asked. He didn't answer. I walked over to him, stood right in front of him, and said, you left me here to wipe your dad's ass and homeschool our kids while you played newlyweds with some man at a damn beach resort. You don't get to explain. Dana, it's not what you think, I laughed. I actually laughed. Really? Then tell me what it is. Tell me how the honeymoon suite fits into all this. Tell me how charging $900 to our joint card while I was bathing your father and mopping up puke is not what I think. He just looked down. I went upstairs, got the envelope with the paperwork I'd printed, and tossed it onto the coffee table. I already filed. You'll be served soon. I moved the money. Don't try anything stupid. He sat down like someone had pulled the bones out of him. I didn't care. You can either come clean to your kids and your dad, or I will. He didn't answer. You have until Friday. I walked out of the room. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. Next twist came from his father. I thought Jim, his father, would be heartbroken when I told him. I thought he'd be shocked. Angry even. But what I didn't expect was that he already knew. It was Thursday morning. The kids were still with my mom. I figured I'd sit Jim down and gently break the news. I made coffee, brought him a cup, and sat across from him at the kitchen table. There's something you should know, I said. He looked at me with those tired, pale eyes. About Daniel? he asked quietly. I froze. He nodded slowly. I figured it out months ago. He was slipping up. The late-night phone calls, deleting messages, suddenly needing all this alone time. I'm old, not blind.
I didn't know what to say.
He's not the man I raised, Jim said, shaking his head. I don't know who he is anymore. I asked him, why didn't you tell me? He took a long sip of coffee and looked down. Because I didn't want to believe it. And honestly, I didn't know how you'd handle it. You were holding everything together. There was a long silence. Then he added, but I want you to know, I'm on your side. No matter what. You've done more for me than my own son has. And I'm not going back to live with him. I want to stay here. If you'll let me. I nodded. Of course. I thought that would be the hardest part. It wasn't. Friday came. Daniel didn't say a word to the kids. Didn't tell his dad. Didn't even tell me where he was staying. He just left. Took some clothes and disappeared. I figured that was fine. Let him run. But Sunday night I got a message. Not from him. From his cousin. The message was short. He's not okay. He's drinking a lot. Talking about hurting himself. You should know. I stared at the screen for a long time. My stomach knotted. I didn't know if it was a real warning or just manipulation. So I replied. He can check into a hospital like anyone else. I'm not saving him. I already did that for 12 years. Then I blocked the number. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. 3 days later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. It was from Daniel's mom, who I hadn't heard from in years. She'd never liked me. Always treated me like I wasn't good enough for her son. Even when I was raising her grandkids and caring for her sick ex-husband under my roof. The letter was short, but it hit hard. You broke my son. Whatever mistakes he made, you didn't have to destroy him.
Divorce is one thing.
Public humiliation is another. You better hope karma doesn't find you. I crumpled the letter and threw it away. But I couldn't lie. It shook me. Not because she was right, but because someone somewhere had spun a whole different version of the story. And now I had enemies I hadn't even asked for. The next week, I started getting hang-up calls. Random texts. Whore. Selfish bitch. Roten hell. All from unknown numbers. He'd told people. But not the truth. He was turning me into the villain. That's when I decided. If he wanted to lie to everyone, I'd show them all exactly what kind of man he really was. I didn't want to go public. That was never the plan. I wanted a clean break, divorce papers, and silence. But Daniel made it dirty first. When his mom's letter came, I ignored it. When the messages started, I blocked every number. But when I found out he told people I cheated on him, that I abandoned him while he was figuring himself out, I couldn't stay quiet. I pulled everything together. Photos. Screenshots of texts. The resort receipt. The phone record from the front desk. Even a copy of our marriage license with the date clearly printed, 12 years ago. Then I made a Facebook post. I didn't use insults. I didn't scream. I just laid out facts. Dates. Actions. Receipts. Daniel said he needed a break from the pressure of being a father, a husband, and a son. So while I was home caring for his dying father and our children, he booked the honeymoon suite at a beach resort with another man. Then he lied. He told his job he had food poisoning. Told his family I left him. Told people I cheated. So, here's the truth. In screenshots, dates, and black and white proof. He didn't just lie. He made me the villain. Within hours, it spread. Friends shared it. People commented. I didn't reply to anything. But the silence from Daniel's side was loud. His mom deleted her account. A few of his friends messaged me privately to apologize. One even sent me old messages he had gotten from Daniel, where Daniel said I was frigid and crazy. Same people who came to our baby showers. Then his boss saw it. Or maybe someone forwarded it to HR. Either way, I found out Monday morning that Daniel got placed on unpaid leave pending review of conduct violations. I didn't celebrate, but I didn't feel bad either. That night, I finally set the kids down. I kept it simple. Daddy made some bad choices. He's living somewhere else now. It's not your fault.
Ele querido.
Nora didn't say much, but she hasn't asked about him since. The divorce finalized 2 months later. I kept the house. Daniel didn't fight me on that, probably because he had nowhere else to go. Turns out, the man he ran off with? He left too. 1 month after my Facebook post went viral. Guess the beach fantasy didn't hold up under pressure. I didn't even gloat when I heard. I just sat with it. Quiet. Satisfied. Last I heard, Daniel moved in with a friend in Charlotte. He's looking for work. And drinking too much. And me? I sleep better now. Not because I won, but because I stopped lying to myself. For years, I thought I was being strong by staying, by carrying everything on my back while he drifted away. But real strength was walking away, letting the truth speak louder than the lies. Was I perfect?
No.
I should have spoken up earlier. Should have stopped covering for him. Should have stopped trying to fix a man who didn't want to be fixed. But in the end, I did the one thing he never expected. I told the truth. Out loud. And it was louder than anything he ever said.